That's annoying. Hello. As you guys come on here, I just have a few announcements to make. Excuse me, I just got back from the gym. It's actually been a while since I'd been to the gym, and I had some dental work done, so I'm a little bit numb on part of my face. So that's been real fun. So I feel like my right side of my face is like huge, but maybe it is. This is going to be a short reading. I wanted to thank you guys for all the positive messages you sent me the other day, all the positive emails, all the positive comments under that. I call it the hot mess video, but I think the Libra and that video was the hot mess video, in my opinion. But I wanted to thank you for your responses. I still haven't went through all of the emails, and I thank you guys. Can you guys hear me? Because I'm using a mic and I'm so, I have no idea if I hook this thing up right. And I am going to put this down when I do the reading, just because it's easier for me to focus that way. And I have like cotton in my lip from my dental work, so excuse me. Just hit the like button if you can hear me. Thank you. So it's really cool. I made this little thing the other day. I've been like so hibernation mode for a long period of time. Let me check something real quick. Hang on, you guys. Okay. I've been in hibernation mode for quite a long period of time, and I am such a crafty person. I took these old placemats. This is just to do your readings, not for sale or anything. And I took like a stick that my dog brought in, and I did earth. And then this is air with two feathers I found. Water is represented by a lapis, and fire is represented by, see, nothing will fall off, a candle. So I'm going to use this actually for your readings. And I was, for the oils and everything I put on the website, thank you. There was a lot of debate whether I wanted to put those things up or not, because I had to get into a whole new thing tax-wise to sell products on the site and everything. So I did actually put up the oils. The abundance oil is the one with the green in the bottom. It's got aventurine. And this is the love oil. So those are on the detoxintuitive.com. We've had great sales on those. Thank you. Those of you who don't know, I actually, well, let me get them to no, I'm not going to get up again. I actually steep the oils. There's no alcohol in these, with the herbs for 30 days prior. And they're really just really cool how I make them. And, you know, if you guys walked in my kitchen, it looks like a science experiment. I have always been into herbs and tinctures and tonics when it comes to food. If you look at my other YouTube channel, Andrea Cox TV, you'll see that like 5 years ago, I was doing tonic herbal drinks, little bit of an alchemist there. But I really appreciate that all of you appreciate my gifts. I think when, you know, a lot of times when we're growing up, you know, we can express being gifted in some way and it can be overlooked. And I want to talk about that today. Mine were not overlooked. I had a mom who really, she always encouraged my writing and my creativity. She used to always tell everybody I was creative. But I was the youngest child, and I have two older sisters. And I'm really recognizing something in clients a lot lately, and this may register with a few of you. God, I can't believe I'm on here like this after the gym. I'm like, can you smell? Sorry. This may register with quite a few of you that, you know, I think the responsibility is put on one child, and maybe you're an only child or something, and then the maybe the youngest gets to like run free and is kind of like the outcast of the family, and maybe the oldest one is given a lot of responsibility, or the middle one is given a lot of responsibility. I think that happens in families. And I think in a family dynamic, we need to learn to be more appreciative towards the people that have had all the responsibility on them. See, I can't speak from a person that has had all the responsibility dumped on me. I have in a relationship, but not in a family dynamic. And because I'm the baby, right? So I think there needs to be an outreach of support. If you have, sorry, can you guys hear me? If you guys have siblings that have all the responsibility on them, a big, big outreach. And I want to read something to you about Indigo children. And then I'm just going to do a very quick read, just a very quick, intuitive read. But I do want to read you something. And I posted about this in the community. And thank you for my need to take time away. A lot of introspection being done. And before I read this, it talks about like beta, alpha children, indigo children, and the times they were born and when their awakening took place. And it says like my particular awakening took place like 10 years ago, and it's absolutely right. But I think we can go through things after that awakening that can jolt us back into a state of being unconscious. And I will be the first one to admit that that has happened to me, and that right now I'm in a state of getting back to myself and what that means. And I better talk louder because there is a boy that is very heavy-footed walking a dog. I knew that was going to happen. Hang on 1 second. Okay. What are you going to do? Oh my goodness. Hang on, you guys. Well, I guess you could say I foresaw that happening because, yeah. So I think that we're all in a state right now of either discovering who we truly are or getting back to who we truly are. And part of the reason I came on here with, and this is going to sound so cheesy, conceited, because you guys are going to be like, well, Andrea, you don't look like shit. But with no like face makeup on and after the gym and with no shower and no sun, nothing, is because I'm trying to get back to a state of being more real with all of you and shining my heart light, which has been buried for quite a long time. So a lot of times that can happen if we do go through like a post-traumatic stress situation. And I think that both myself and an ex-partner of mine both went through a very traumatic situation. And I will tell you, one of the best readings I have ever heard, I know I talk about her. I would probably, if she sends me her bathwater, I will drink it on camera, is a recent video that Queen of Cups, that's plural. There's an S on the end of cups because I know there's a Queen of Cup and a Queen of Cups. So Queen of Cups Tarot. She's from Sweden, so you'll know right when you watch her, did. And it was like a pick a card out of 3 cards. And it showed the first dynamic of a group of people that were like polyamorous, younger, air signs, and they just didn't want to express their feelings. They didn't want to open up emotionally, right? They may have had a lot of pressure put on them when they were really young. And then it showed like a Queen of Cups type character in the middle that was very wise, but that needed a lot of hermit time, a lot of time alone. And the reason was that, and they were put here to shine a light, right? For everyone to see and everyone to learn. And some of their lifetimes here on earth were meant to be shining that light, and other lifetimes were meant to be more in hermit mode. And I feel like I've fluctuated back and forth in this lifetime between those 2 cycles a lot. And I really don't want to be in hermit mode for like 7 years because I did that in my 20s and it did serve me. Um, I was single and celibate for 7 years in my 20s, and I lived in a big house in Ohio and really did isolate myself. But it was where I learned about food, about raw veganism, about all of that. So that did serve a purpose. And then there was the last group who I remember, you'll have to watch her video. It's like one of her latest videos. Tell her I sent you. She's amazing. I watch all of her videos every month. She's so informative. She is my only addiction other than my dogs and jackfruit. So another thing that she was talking about with the last group, they were more of a fiery energy, but could have air in their chart. But the signs don't matter. I shared that with you. But they were an energy like where they would like get in a relationship and drive the other person crazy. Like literally, if you lined up all of their girlfriends or whatever, each one of them had went crazy, like loco. And I was taken back to a time of right before I got into a relationship of when I got a call from a woman warning me, and saying, well, hasn't this happened yet? And hasn't this happened yet? And I thought, no, 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 not at all. No. And everything did end up happening, but, and look, we're all growing. This is not a blame and shame game. But it took that long for me to realize that, like the past 2 years, I've been in a state of major PTSD, major, and not allowing anyone to really come in as far as to my heart, not even friends, not even just really being closed off, being more selfish, and taking a lot of the things I learned from that relationship that I need to unlearn and, just, you know, so look at that, listen to that video and point out where you are. And I think you will, either admit to yourself that, oh my God, that's how I am, or wow, I am that way. And I wrote a blog post. It was short. I wrote it at 3 a.m. on both the Detox Intuitive and AndreaCox.com about depression, which is something I've suffered with throughout life. But it was really first noticed in me when I was super young. And I didn't, I'm not the type of person to take a drug. I think drugs worsen the problem, and they've done studies on that. But I really did write about that, and I will write about that more because there are things that you can do to get back to yourself. And of course, check with your doctor, because some people need medicine. But you have to differentiate at some time. Like, are you sad over a situation? Is it situational depression? Is it bipolar? Are you up and then you're down? Is it or is it something where you get so low that nothing can pull you out, right? Okay, so I want to read to you guys about indigo children. Do you belong to one of the 5 indigo generations? And this is an article by, it's not by me. And that's, one moment, let me get my dog. Let me harvest my dogs. Hang on. All right, Lewis. Sorry. And I don't mean to straddle the chair. It's the chairs are this wide. Never mind. Go to bed. Good boy. Lewis, it's time. fine. So, do you belong to one of the 5 indigo generations? And this was an article I found. There are many reasons why you may feel unique. Could you or someone you know be part of the indigo generations? The following article will answer. Alpha generation. The first generation, which was called Alpha, includes children born in the period between 1958 and 1968. The period of which awakening of the Alpha generation was from, so this is the time they had their awakening. Lewis wants up here. So sorry. Can you please? Good night, night. The period of which the Alpha generation had their awakening was from 1986 to 1996. So obviously they've had a lot of stuff go on in their life since then. Maybe it's time to reawaken, right? Ground themselves, blah, blah, blah. Their aura was seen as dark blue and green with purple shades, under the influence of the metallic beige hue, protecting them from external attacks and excessively early showing of indigo potential. Since early childhood, the Alpha had a feeling of being different, as if they did not belong to their home, country, or parents. The reasons for these differences were always vague and never provided a satisfactory explanation. I just got a feeling of sadness in the chat, so I don't know if one of you is sad today, but wishing you the best. The Beta generation. This is actually my generation. And I love one of the features of this generation. FYI, I think you'll guess which one that is. The Beta generation, they are people born in the period between 1968 and 1978. The period of their awakening coincides roughly with the period between 1996 and 2006, which was exactly when I had my awakening. The colors of their aura are blue, green, purple, but no longer the color of the metal shield. A typical feature of both generations, Alpha and Beta, is that they, it says it right here, look much younger than they actually are. This is why the younger generations have to do much more self-care than the Alpha and Beta generations. I'm not saying I look younger than I am, but I am told that. So the Gamma generation. Now, this is important because the Beta generation does not have the shield of protection as the Alpha generation. So the Alpha generation was that older generation. The Beta generation is younger, and they do not, it says they no longer have the color of the metal shield. So that means we are much more susceptible to things like the 5H or 5G that's coming out with the cell phones, other people's energy, people that maybe are verbally abusive or something of that nature. It can actually throw us off completely for years. And it's also why it's important if you are like responsible, I'm just throwing this out there energetically, for maybe being, let's just use verbal abuse as a complete generalization. If you know that you have been abusive to someone, it's so important to either get the person the help they need or, not just like damage someone and disappear off the face of the earth. That's important. And that's important to say. And it's also why, you may be told a lot that you're sensitive or overly sensitive if you are of that generation. You're not. You just feel things on an energetic level. You might even feel things in your body, back pain, neck pain, things of that nature. The Delta generation. These children are born between 1988 and 1998. One of the characteristics of the fourth generation is the indigo color of the aura. The period of maturation and spiritual awakening of the Delta generation coincides with the period from 2016 until 2026. That's a long period of time. Now, I guarantee you, and it doesn't say this here, why it's a much longer period of time is they're exposed to these from birth. Their mom's got one of these in their hand when they're in the womb. They're getting this in their hand when they're 10, you know? So the electromagnetic radiation has a big deal to do with all of this. Now, listen to this. Listen to how they're described. They're actually not the overly sensitive ones. Those are the betas. That's my generation. And it's not overly sensitive, it's sensitive to being attacked because we don't have the shield that the alphas had. Okay, listen. Listen to me. Okay, listen. Like you're not on here for a reason. These children are born between, okay, this generation is too sensitive and needs plenty of help. Whoever wrote this needs a little bit of a correction on that. I'm just saying these people are overactive and quite extroverted. They like to show the world who they are, who they really are, and often do this with great self-confidence in their environment. They want blue and purple colors and enjoy slow music. They avoid crowded places and anything that causes nervousness. The Delta generation usually has difficult teenage years. Many of these kids think that something is wrong with them, and they may dabble with drugs or have suicidal tendencies. The best remedy for them is nature. I want to go back because I think I skipped that. Okay, let me talk about the Delta generation. Okay, yeah, that's fine. They're also considered like a spoiled generation, and rightfully they are, okay? The Delta generation usually has difficult teenage years, blah, 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 blah. Children born between 1998 and 2008 belong to the so-called Omega Indigo generation. Supposedly, this is the last pure Indigo generation. This generation will experience the dark night of awakening from 2026 to 2036. That's because planetary-wise, our planet is going to absolute shit. This is why I find it very, very difficult to watch people litter in the ocean or not go vegan when it can save the planet literally, or ignore our planet when they have children and they know they're going to have grandchildren. It's like it blows my mind, you know? I'm like, are you serious? Like, how can you even do that? How can you even sit with yourself knowing that this planet that you are killing is going to affect your offspring's children, your grandchildren? And it's one of the reasons why I didn't bring children into this world, is because 17 years ago when I went vegan and I had my awakening, I knew that this planet was going to shit in a handbasket. I knew. I knew, living in the Midwest, living in Ohio, I knew that this planet was going to hell. So the Omega generation. Okay, these children are particularly vulnerable to various dermatology problems, allergies, and diseases. Also, autistic, Asperger's syndrome, etc. This generation, there's an important need to trust their intuition, trust where they're being guided, and that cannot happen when you're eating shit food. And anyone who is on here that tells you different is full of shit, and I would welcome them in a side-by-side debate. Seriously. FOS. I would welcome them in a side-by-side debate. If you are not taking care of your body, if you are not going plant-based, how do you expect to grow, okay, energetically, or trust, or your third eye open when you are eating dead, decomposing animal flesh? And if you want to educate yourselves on how those animals are treated, just go and watch. Go and watch some of the videos. It's horrendous. And you're getting all that death, all that angst, all that anxiety into your body. And I did, you guys, I saw all of this 17 years ago. I saw it all. I don't know. I don't even remember what happened. I didn't feel well. And I was a fitness model and I didn't feel well. And I thought, why am I so stiff? Why do I feel this in my body? Why do I feel this energetically? What is happening here that I don't feel like my soul? that I feel like hardened, right? And it was the fact that I was eating the 6 meals a day, dead, decomposing animal, the whole 9 yards, protein shakes, egg white omelets, bullshit. So that's when I flew to New York and learned what I learned. So, um, quick reading. Let's do just a quick reading because I have made a promise to myself to get back to myself starting today. And I did go to the gym and I have made plans to go to yoga tonight. It's very, very important to me. I think it's probably about that time. Yeah, yoga starts in 15 minutes. So obviously, I'm going to have to go to a later class. Or maybe I'll just go back to the gym tonight and hit yoga tomorrow. We'll see. But I made a promise to myself to be good to myself. And I want to honor that because that's what, at the end of the day, that's what matters the most. I want to tell you something else. And this is something that's coming from a place that's really close to my heart. And I don't want to start crying. So I'm not. Okay. Some of the wisest people I have known, okay, have not taken the best care of themselves. And just hear me out. And it does affect them and it takes them down before their time. If you know someone that is in that category, it is vitally important that you remind them that they are a beautiful soul just inhabiting that body. While on the earth, it's vitally important that you remind them of that because sometimes people don't take care of themselves. And they don't make the right choices when it comes to what they eat and what they intake. And it does have the ability to affect longevity and things like that. And it's really painful to see that happening. And it's really painful when it's people you love. But it's your job to not be a critic or throw down the golden hammer or try to give someone else their karma about the way they eat or what they intake. It is your job to stand there as a beacon of light and do the best you can to demonstrate what eating a healthy diet can do and what exercise can do, and also to remind them almost daily that they are a beautiful soul. They are a beautiful soul that are just inhabiting these bodies for this length of existence in this lifetime. Okay? On that note, I think I actually should probably just do an intuitive read with no cards. Because obviously, I am in a space of heightened soul's growth right now. And I want to embrace that. So I actually feel that also, and that's another reason I put that video out the other day, that we are in a place right now that we should be so incredibly grateful for. And if you're not grateful, there's more healing that needs to be done, right? I also feel like a lot of us will be getting out this weekend, right? And interacting with people that maybe we've wanted to interact with but haven't interacted with, maybe out of fear, maybe out of just not listening to what we truly want for ourselves, not what other people want for us, but what we truly want for ourselves, right? Because a lot of times people around us can tell us what is good for us, what is not good for us. But at the end of the day, we are in charge of what is best for ourselves and making that conscious, intuitive decision. I actually think that's it for right now, you guys. I really don't feel like I want to, and I'm going to use the word taint this beautiful video with anything about Three of Cups or anything like that. I really want this video to just stand on its own accord. I wish I would have taped it somewhere else or knew how to download it now. And I do feel a lot of positive friendships coming into play. It could be friendships with ex-husband and wife. It could be friendships with maybe someone you haven't been getting along with. It could be a friendship, meeting new friends. I think that's going to come into play a lot too. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll come on later and do something. I need to run a few errands and get back into a little more self-care mode to ground myself. So by Monday, I'm completely grounded. Thanks so much. Be well.